Welcome to Shared Insights, the podcast from BA Insight. My name is Pete Wright, and we've got a new voice on the show today. Rick Fafard is Technical Director of Professional Services here at BA Insight. Rick, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to join you.
You have obviously years of experience in software development and deep experience in search, and you are the perfect person to help walk us through the detail of the story we want to tell today. But before we jump in, tell us a little bit about what you do at BA Insight and how you work with customers as a Technical Director of Professional Services. What does that mean?
Sure. The technical director part derives from being a director of the professional services group here. I was running the people and implementing projects at the same time. And we had a growth in management in the company here. And there was a point in time where, would you like to direct or would you like to implement? And I chose the implementation side because I really enjoy working with customers, writing some software, implementing solutions, listening to their challenges, and occasionally selling them a few different things that they want and need.
And how long have you been with BA Insight?
I've been here going on 7 years now, 6.5, yeah. Quite a while.
Well, so much the better that you are here to talk to us about this particular bit of news. We recently announced a strategic partnership between BA Insight and Recommind. Listeners will know Recommind is the brand behind Decisiv Search. This new partnership will see BA Insight integrating Decisiv natively into SharePoint. Over the course of our conversation today, I'm hoping you can help us unravel the key details of this partnership. To kick us off, who's going to care the most about this?
Well, Decisiv Search and the Recommind solution there has been used in the legal industry, the law firms, the large law firms around the world for quite some time. In working with Recommind and the customers I'm working with on solutions, it's large law firms.
Now, what is special about law firms that they require a tool like Decisiv and Recommind?
It's a very robust search system. From many aspects, the underlying search system is well built and efficient, and they have connected to and have the ability to basically index almost anything that a law firm would use, from their document management systems to their billing systems to their people directories. So they've done a very good job at integrating all the content that resides inside a law firm and some of it outside a law firm and bringing it together in their search index and providing an interface that people use and really like. It's a quality system. What
is special about this agreement? Why did BA Insight elect to do an integration with Recommind beyond sort of what you've already done?
BA Insight has many customers that primarily have search systems inside SharePoint, from the SharePoint Fast days now up into SharePoint 2013, SharePoint 2016 most recently. So, and we have a lot of law firms that as customers. So, in essence, we have quite a few mutual customers with Recommind. From the pure investment perspective of a law firm, you're a law firm, you've invested in Recommind, and you also have SharePoint as your intranet, in some cases even as a partial portal to your own customers, your clients, the law firm clients. So you effectively have two systems, and they both have search capabilities. The BA Insight customers who have done investments and appreciate what they've got running with Recommind want to surface the same functionality and flexibility of the data and search ability inside Recommind. They want to surface that inside SharePoint. So you're an employee of law firm ABC, and you're on your intranet and you search for New York labor law disputes. That search should execute across everything in a law firm, whether it's in your SharePoint system or inside the Recommind system. So we, by binding to the Recommind system, we can bring those two things together and provide a unified search in a unified interface and preserve the investment people have in their Recommind system.
What's your experience with it so far? Just the way you talk about it, it sounds like something that is, incredibly sort of user focused and sounds like some great benefits. Any surprises that came up in the integration?
Well, having done a couple of them, it's interesting to look at what different people do. In different companies. For example, one of the customers that we did the integration with, they wanted the information. They have the basic, they have a client matter management systems, and that information is inside Recommind or indexed by Recommind and available and searchable from inside Recommind. What they wanted to do is put up client matter dashboards, which would have the client matter information that's indexed inside Recommind and SharePoint information where they had precedents, other key information that relates to the client matters, all in one dashboard. It's interesting when you look at it, it looks like an application page, where you're clicking and you've got drop downs and tabs. It doesn't look like a search center. It doesn't look like the Google with, the list of results that you would think of when you think of a search center. But the information that comes out of Recommind, we combine it and we show it in different places on that one, application dashboard for client matters. But we also use the information that we'll pull out. For example, we'll find the primary attorney on a given client matter, and that comes out of Recommind. We'll use that primary attorney as a key to issue other searches inside additional search indexes like SharePoint or Elastic as a different backend for a search index. And kind of chain everything together, so it's not like you're just saying, "Oh, I'm looking for ABC or New York labor law disputes." I take information from one system that I get as a search result, and you combine it into additional queries or searches, if you will, that would bring up additional information and other little pieces of the dashboard page. It gives you the ability to not just look in two places, but get information from one place that keys you into getting information from another place.
It sounds like it could be enormously beneficial for attorneys working on cases to see all of these, all of the case matter, client matter, all in one place. Do you have any sense of the practical sort of efficiency success that these clients are seeing after your work with the integrations?
Boy, that is really the ultimate question, right? When you put these systems in place, what's your ROI? Yeah. Am I really making someone more efficient? Specifically on the Recommind integrations, I do not have quantified data from the customers on the ROI or the efficiency gained. That's a rare thing that people talk about it. It's a rare thing to see people really quantify it in, I'm saving 6.5 hours, per practice support attorney because I've implemented global search, right, or enterprise search. The fun subject, I have yet to see people really perform it quite well enough. I can use some case examples though from some law firm I've been working with in the UK. Sure. They did not have an e-discovery platform, and we implemented an enterprise search system for them. Interestingly enough, they realized that if we added just a few things, emails, basically being able to index every email that goes on, on a subject matter, as well as their home directory or shared directory files, that we could give them e-discovery with the simple running of a search with some scopes in the right places. And then at the end, you come up with an export to Excel. So you'd get the 862 locations of information that were pertinent to what was being, questioned or being asked to be discovered. That saved them days, actually, every time that came up, every time they had to do an e-discovery. So you try to automate things, and it really came down to, oh wow, you can export the list of results and where they all came from, so I know that all of the documents, whether they're on the shared files or whether they're in the document management system or whether they're in emails between the attorneys and the clients, all come up in one nice compact list. Which was a lot of work for the information technology team prior.
How does the integration actually work from the perspective of BA Insight? If you want to embark on this sort of a tool, you're a big law firm, walk us through that process.
Yeah. Essentially, you can think of it as Recommind and Decisiv have a search index. They've indexed content much the way Google does. It crawls a website and puts information from the website into its searchable index. Recommind crawls or indexes the document management systems, all the popular ones that are used by the law firms, the client management systems, which is billing information, et cetera, and the people. Those are really the primary flavors of systems. You've got people, documents, and billing information, and the finance side of the business. That all resides in one place. We've got SharePoint on the other side, which is what they're using for their intranet, and there may be other systems, et cetera, that are being put into the SharePoint search index, but they're two separate filing cabinets, if you will. Inside SharePoint, we have a product called the Federator, and the Federator was initially and to this day, thought of as being the ability to go federate and find or issue searches in other systems and then bring back the results and combine them. Federator is actually used to do that in many, many places. And so what we did with Recommind is we created a Federator backend, which plugs into Recommind and issues the same collection of searches or additional searches into the Recommind system and then brings them back into one location, in this case SharePoint, so the results are all rendered in one place. So instead of you could in essence copy the Recommind search index and everything or pull it all out and then put it in SharePoint, but we don't do that. We're doing it dynamically on the fly as people look for something. So instead of duplicating the data, we're simply, fetching it from multiple places at the same time.
It seems like there would be some significant efficiency and storage and latency costs for big global outfits.
Oh yeah, when you look at the amount of content that a medium or large law firm creates, I have one client that has, I think, 70 million documents across the world that we bring into one search index. So, when you're talking about 70 million items, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It demonstrates, just how important the Federator is in creating a first-class sort of search citizen.
And it becomes fast too, because you've got Recommind, which performs very well. You issue a search into Recommind, they may have 50 million documents and items in the search index, and it comes back within 2.5 seconds, a second and a half. That's executing at the same time as other parallel. You're getting the benefit of doing things in parallel, and all you're really bringing back is what is important. The first 10 results or 50 or whatever the case. You're not bringing 50 million documents across. You're bringing 600 kilobytes worth of web page.
Recommind is now OpenText. Acquired Recommind. What is your sense of the effect that this will have on Decisiv customers?
In some ways, I believe it's more impactful for existing customers of Recommind. OpenText does a good job of supporting every product and company they buy. From what I've seen with other OpenText companies and products, they do support them and they keep them moving forward. They don't buy them to kill them. So that's good for Recommind. OpenText has a lot of big corporate power and sustainability, behind them. You're less likely to be left in a lurch with a large company like that than you would with a small company that may have, some issues. But you also have to look at it from a perspective of, okay, how do I potentially future-proof myself with respect to, okay, I've got this investment in Decisiv. I want to keep it. I like the way it works. But I'm also putting investments in other platforms, such as SharePoint or Elastic, which is an open search platform that's gaining some popularity even with large companies.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to be stuck potentially in a one shoe fits all, and having the ability to maintain your investment, but also leverage some of your new investments and bring the two together with, call what we do a gateway product. I think that's a good thing. I think it's good that you know that, okay, I've got a Microsoft SharePoint platform here that I can put some investment in, but I can still maintain all the good work I did in the Recommind Decisiv side.
Given all the work you're doing formalizing this strategic partnership with Recommind, how do you recommend your clients move forward to help them better understand the possibilities, the opportunities that come with an integration like this between their Decisiv and their SharePoint installations?
As far as recommending what they do, it came up recently even in another customer where they had a lot of new content in a different system. They were specifically interested in, well, does it make sense for us to index this content into SharePoint, or continue and add this additional information into the Recommind index, and then bring it back through our Federator product into SharePoint versus having it locally in the SharePoint index? Mm-hmm. That was an interesting question, because there are two answers to it, and one is if the content is indexable by SharePoint, then the simplest route is to have SharePoint index it. But the flip side of that, the second answer is, if the content is of value with what you've done inside Recommind, then you would want to index it into Recommind and perhaps federate it back in to SharePoint versus having it native in SharePoint. And when I say if the content is of value in Recommind, one of the things that Recommind and Decisiv that they do really well is they provide, in addition to, I'm looking for a document, I'm looking for, a person, I'm looking for a client matter. They do a very good job at what would be called expertise search or experience search. For example, when I'm searching for California labor laws and I want to find the person who's the most expert in that field or that subject matter, the Recommind solution in Decisiv is very good at doing that. They implement, I'm searching for a person. Well, the person's name isn't California labor law, obviously. You're not searching for a person. You're searching for someone with experience or the most experience in that area. And they've done a good job at consolidating all the input factors to that. Expertise search is a big subject. Think of it as, I've authored documents on the subject. I've sat on panels of the subject. I've been, on different committees that are, labor agreements, have structured labor agreements, et cetera. So all the different input factors to what would make you, highly experienced or an expert in a subject matter, they've done a good job merging those all together. So whether it's the billing records that mention it in the billing notes, whether it's, documents you've authored, whether it's biographies, committees, et cetera, you can do that kind of search inside Recommind and come up with, hey, these are the top 10 people that fit, that would be the most experienced in that subject matter.
And now your users don't have to choose.
Right. They've got a list of people to choose from, and with one client, they've put together a little dashboard that explains why this person is considered the expert on the subject, whatever you have, queried, searched for. So if the content, so there's the double-edged sword of like, okay, am I going to invest in indexing something new into my Recommind system, or am I going to index it where it lives to begin with? Well, where it lives to begin with is simpler. That's a good choice usually. But if there's value in bringing it back into your Recommind solution because of the power that's already there, then obviously that's what you want to do.
For firms and outfits that are interested in learning more about this and your work on this integration, where do you recommend that they go to study up?
Well, I think doing a query into the BA Insight website and asking for more information is a good place to start, because we have a lot of people here, and going to Recommind too. Recommind obviously is an expert in their own product matter, subject matter, sure. But we have sufficient number of implementations that are in progress or have been done that I think think we have a good group of people here that would know how to discuss what your goals are, and then determine whether or not there's a fit for what we're doing and what people are looking to do. Because it evolves. It does evolve.
I've got a set of links that you can find in the show notes. Just swipe up in your podcast player of choice, including contacting us directly. We would love to hear from you and hear about your interest in this sort of integration. We'd also love to hear about any success stories you'd like to share with us. Thank you so much, Rick Fafard, for joining us and teaching us a little bit about this new Recommind BA Insight partnership.
Well, it's been a lot of fun.
Thanks so much. Thank you, everybody, for downloading and listening to the show. We sure appreciate your time and attention. Don't forget, if you're listening to the show on the website, you can subscribe for free anywhere finer podcasts are served. Make sure you don't miss a single episode. On behalf of Rick Fafard, I'm Pete Wright, and I'll catch you next time right here on Shared Insights, the podcast from BA Insight.